All right, I had something funny worked out earlier to say at the beginning of this, but I've totally forgotten it.
Is it because of your advanced age?
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with many factors, of which age is just one.
Welcome to Nothing But Worry.
Hey, she said it without prompting today, without my even knowing she was going to do it. And
then you spoil it by saying that.
no, it's not spoiling it because this is episode 125, an auspicious number, I would think.
Yeah.
It's a centenary and a quarter of a centenary.
And the dementia age of the current resident in the White House.
Mm-hmm. You know, I believe that the United States celebrated its 125th birthday. I remember the bicentennial very clearly. I mean, I remember the whole year. We've talked about this before. Let's talk about something recent, current.
Okay. What?
Well, it's been very cold, and I believe we hinted last episode that I probably was going to have a 3-day weekend because of ice storm. It turned out to be a 3-day weekend, but in addition to that, it turned out to be a 4-day weekend because I took the first day off, called in because I'm not driving on ice. I'm just not going to. And the second day I woke up and
Something was wrong.
Bonnie looked at me. She's like, if you don't feel like going to work, you don't have to. I'm like, are you kidding me? And she was like, no. Like, okay, that's fine with me.
Oh, I remembered a little bit differently. Not only did I say that, I said, you look terrible. And your eye was drooping, even side was drooping. And you were acting strangely.
Yeah.
When you get a little bit of pressure on the spot in your head, and you were acting weird.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so I went back to work, and nobody said a word to me about it. Not a word, which is odd. Mitch did say one thing.
What?
He said, I come to work. They tell me you've called in sick. Okay, fine. I get home, and you've sent me emails throughout the night. And I'm like, that motherfucker, he's at home watching YouTube.
Well, he was also at home sleeping a lot and not feeling right.
Oh, God. So,
There's still, the front porch is still completely iced over.
right.
The back porch has more sunlight on it, and so there's a path through it.
Well,
We still have snow and ice in the yard, and it's been coming up on a week.
So-
almost. Well, 5 days, rather.
right. So we've been coming in and out through the back door, which is a lower porch to the ground and
there's like
larger,
3 or 4 steps
and it's
instead of
in the
9.
sunlight more of the day than the front porch is. So anyway, yesterday, see, today is buy nothing day. Is no sales day. Is a protest against the Trump administration.
Regime.
So yesterday, I decided, you know what? If I'm going to get canvas for the weekend, I need to do it today.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'll have nothing to do. So I get up thinking, well, Bonnie will be asleep. I can sneak out. And she's still awake. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I got to thinking, I need to go today if I'm going to get the canvas. She goes, no, don't worry about it. Don't go out. You're tired. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself. So I'm like, no, I'll be fine. So I know she's not going to help me. So I go out the front door like a fool. And I haven't told you this yet.
Oh, God.
I slipped on damn near every step going down.
Fall?
I did not fall once. I kept my legs locked. It was like,
Idiot.
bam, slide, bam, slide, bam. And I'm holding onto the rail as I'm going down. Like, just stay upright. Don't fall on your ass.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I had my bag full of crap with me, which I didn't want to break and spill. So anyway, I go all the way across town, the Hobby Lobby, and I get there. There's nobody in there. Nobody.
Thank God.
And Anyway,
I wish there was a way we could get canvases at a decent price without having to go to Hobby Lobby.
you
I
can't.
despise
You
that place.
do not want to mail order them. Believe
I
me.
know, they get destroyed.
But the guy who works at Hobby Lobby, who's got the little thalidomide arm, he was there, and he's about to wait on me, and I'm like, oh my god, no, please, I don't want to deal with this guy. I don't want him handing my change or my receipt to me. A woman behind me goes, I can take you over here. Oh, thank God. So anyway,
Makes you feel uncomfortable, huh?
it does. What?
Yeah. What kind of society has people that are forced to work?
Well,
Maybe
I mean,
that's the real
maybe
useful, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he's a firm believer in the Hobby Lobby philosophy. I don't know.
Oh my God. Well, he wouldn't have signed up for the health insurance there, that's for sure.
So I'm going with a slightly larger size canvas because I've painted on this size canvas for years now, and I've got hundreds of paintings in this size, and I decided I've got to have a bigger challenge. So I bought a slightly bigger one, and I'm painting them landscape oriented instead of portrait oriented for a while, which is what I normally do. And I have no idea what I'm starting it tonight. I don't have no idea what I'm gonna do. So Bonnie has some future plans, which she's shared with me recently.
Well, if I can manage it, I'd like to have a small garden. I haven't gardened in years. And I came across a video where people use raised garden beds. I actually go so far as to have them like on table structures. And given how bad my osteoarthritis is, it might be an option for me.
But you couldn't grow vegetables that way, could you?
Yeah, you can. That's the whole point of this.
Huh.
I don't want to waste it on flowers. I want to do something productive.
How much did we, out of the gardens you've had in the past, how much did we actually eat?
We had a couple of really bad years. One year it rained so badly that everything was waterlogged, and these were in raised beds that were 8 inches raised, and there was mold on so many things. All the tomatoes ended up with like blossom and rot, and then the squash ended up with some kind of mildew syndrome. One year, there was 2 years in a row where we had extreme temperatures. I mean, extremely hot temperatures. And that year, I put in either 9 or 18 pepper plants, along with everything else. Nothing survived. The heat, it was, I mean, the leaves were getting scorched, okay? And the pepper plants produced, and I thought, oh God, and they put on water bans and stuff. So I said, okay, the garden is shot. I went out there several weeks after, and the pepper plants had dried up. But all the peppers that they produced had dried on the vine, and we used those for 2, 3, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
They were fabulous. But I would like to have bell peppers. I would like to try cucumbers, because I love cucumbers. I would like to do some lettuces, and I want to do some potatoes. And there are different ways that you can do potatoes. And I don't think I'm going to do the squash again, because this spreads so much. It's like 3 feet across. And I would like to try maybe some kind of beans. One of those varieties that you can harvest from
Right.
all season long.
If you could
If I
grow
could get a couple
green beans, it'd be great.
Well, a couple indeterminate varieties of those, and also some indeterminate variety of tomatoes. And I want to stake those against the porch rails so that they're able to sprawl.
I distinctly remember a couple of years where we ate freshly harvested green beans like every day for
Months.
a couple, well, not that long, but a couple of weeks until you, at the point where you're like, oh, these are really good. I could eat a plate of these every day. Oh, wow.
Okay, why are we still eating a plate of these every day 3 weeks later?
But then all of a sudden you're like, what happened to green beans? Well, stop picking them, and that means that they stop growing. You're like, oh, that's weird kind of vegetable.
Well, I want to reclaim the fig trees.
Yeah.
The fig trees are 40 years old.
They're way old. They're old.
And the fig trees reproduce. They have the branches that begin to splay and then hang down to the ground. And where they touch the ground, they'll take root.
Right.
And where they root, you go from the root to the trunk of the tree and cut it. And then you remove that thing which is rooted and you plant it somewhere else. And
Well,
I want to take the ones that have already done that and put them somewhere else. But right now, we've got to go in and trim out a briar, and I think there's an oak tree trying to grow.
well,
in there.
I'll tell you. See, the thing is, when my grandparents who lived here were alive, they tended the outdoors every day, and so the fig trees were kept neatly cropped and everything.
We
but
did
now,
that for a while here.
There is poison ivy growing in there. There's these big thorns. There's this Russian olive is growing in there.
Oh, is
Bad.
that what it is?
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
there may
God.
be like a sweet gum or something, or maybe even a white oak coming up in
There's
there
an
too.
oak coming up in the pomegranate tree.
That whole thing is just, I hate that thing. It's an eyesore. It's like,
Pomegranate?
yeah, we need to just start over with something new there.
Huh.
I like the pomegranate seeds once a year, but that's about it. Did that catawba tree ever finally come down that my mother didn't want to take down?
I honestly don't know. It is now in the
Engulfed in all that
yeah.
overgrowth.
Yeah, because we've got almost 5 acres, and the oldest part that was allowed to grow up has a forest now, and then it has shaded out a lot of the undergrowth. And then other parts did not have the same effect, and the catawba's in that other part that hasn't forested yet.
I remember, now this has been 25 years ago, telling my mother, this are our plans for the property, this, and take down that tree. What? That catawba tree? My mother planted that. You could say the same thing about 90% of the well-rooted plants on the property.
Your mother took it upon herself to put a tree at the corner of our property. It's on the edge of the septic field, and I've got to have that removed. I remember when we moved in here, she came over and planted all this stuff, this tree out in our front yard, and I had put in a sun garden, so I had to go move everything. She goes, why'd you move that? I said, because it was a sun garden, and you planted a tree over perennials that were sun-loving.
Are you talking about...
The crepe myrtle right here,
The-
that big, huge crepe myrtle.
I thought you were talking about the row of crepe myrtles down the driveway.
That's not crepe myrtles.
What are they then?
I forget what they are, but they're a nightmare, whatever those are. They're the ones the leaves look like pot plant leaves.
So wait a minute, you don't like this big crepe myrtle right in front of the steps here?
No, your mother put it in. I can't stand it.
Well, we can get rid of it then. I didn't know you didn't like it.
Oh my God.
But do you agree something needs to be there in that central area? Because the driveway's sort of circular, I think. What do you think? Or have nothing and everybody park straight in?
That's a better option in my opinion, given the
That might not be a bad idea.
That's not. I don't know what happened to that crepe myrtle. Maybe it's what happened with the cherry tree. There was an ice storm, and the cherry tree split. The trunk split down the
That's
middle.
right, yeah.
And it completely destroyed the cherry tree. I think that crepe myrtle had something similar happen. the crepe myrtles will bush out instead of becoming a tree. And so, ugh, I have never been able to stand that crepe myrtle. It's just huge. It's
Well,
enormous.
I don't remember exactly what the parking arrangements were at the old house up on the higher
Yeah.
plateau where we used to park. But you don't remember this, but when my parents lived on top of the hill over here, in the backyard, my dad had made actual parking spaces with like those rough oval shaped fence posts. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
You talking about you can buy a fence post. You attach.
Yeah?
Okay, he used those to line out parking spaces, and everybody had their own parking space in the backyard.
Oh.
I don't know if we had. I was thinking maybe we had something like that up here with like maybe pieces of timber or something.
No. I think we just parked under the tree there in front of the.
But
Because it was in the shade.
I thought you liked this sort of central thing in the circular driveway. But what I'm getting at is, if you want to do away with that, then we could have clearly lined out parking spaces.
Well, one thing that I'm thinking about doing is buying one of those awnings for us when Peter leaves.
Yeah.
And we could put it where Peter parks on the side there.
Mm-hmm.
Because the part that I'm talking about, the house, is the master suite and the master bedroom. And we keep everything closed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole.
Oh, you're not thinking of having it attached to the house.
Not attached to the house, but where we just pull up facing the house.
Right.
Anyway, just a thought. It doesn't obstruct any view, is my point.
Well, I just like the idea of the cars being more accessible without having to sacrifice them getting so hot in the summer on the inside.
See, that's one of the reasons that I think that that area would be good. Is because that hits this morning sun. But like you pointed out with the front porch here,
Mm-hmm.
once the sun is at high noon, the front of the house is not in the sun anymore. You know, it has the fall, the shadow of the house. So I think it would keep the cars a lot cooler
Yeah.
if we put it there.
We can get covered with ice like it did this
But
week.
I want to get one of those that has like the extended side on one part.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're talking about for like lawnmowers and stuff.
Not necessarily that, but that instead of having the awning just across the top,
Mm-hmm.
one side goes down partially.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Oh God, so much shit to do. Chores wise, lawn work wise.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna hire
Well, once you get
one of
going,
the guys.
Hmm?
We have two lawn guys. One's the lawn guy, one's the tree guy. And the tree guy does major work, like landscaping. And I want him to do some work around here as well as our regular lawn guys. But I'm thinking about March. We're going to cash in one of the CDs.
oh, why you? I thought that was a long-term thing.
We've got multiple CDs. They have multiple terms. And we have what's called a CD ladder system so that the CDs mature at different
Okay.
times.
So what are you going to do with the money now?
I'm just going to take one of the small ones
And hire this dude?
and use it for work around the house.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
I mean, we've already, since we put that money aside, we've already saved that money again, just basic savings. So,
okay. Well, anyway,
I mean, we set aside money every month for lawn stuff, whether or not it gets done. So I've got funds in the
Oh, I know what I
lawn
was gonna
savings
say.
too already.
well, what I was going to say, what I was getting at is, totally escaped my mind, was once you get used to gardening, then you can do a lot of this heavy yard work, right?
We'll have to see how that goes because I do like I've been hobbling around a lot with the cane lately,
Yeah.
even inside. So we'll have to see what happens.
Well, I just think it'd be good for you
The
to get
shots aren't
outside.
working. The cortisone shots aren't working anymore. So I would like very much to play around in the dirt again. I've been enjoying having the potted plants inside, but there's only so much you can do. Yeah.
Might want to check that basil again. See if it's.
Yeah, the basil, I've kept it alive for several months. It's one of those you buy at the grocery store.
You think it's just ready to die?
The thing is we've been harvesting a lot off of it lately. And it needs to be, I could do the Epsom salts trick, try to give it a little bit of boost with that. But
When was it that I used to soak my feet in Epsom salts?
yeah, Epsom salts.
When was
yeah.
that? It was like for some certain reason. Was I had just started at North Metro or something, or what was
Well,
it?
for a while, you were back here. Your feet were bothering you. So I would have you soak your feet and then we'd rub your feet.
Doesn't seem that long ago.
Since you started here, back here.
Oh, I haven't soaked my feet in Epsom salts in years.
You have since you've been back here, yeah.
No, I haven't.
I know.
No, I haven't.
I'm the one who has to lay out the water and
Oh.
clean up. I know.
So anyway,
Tell me more, brain damage boy.
I have not soaked. I have.
Ask him about the jug.
I have not soaked my feet in Epsom salts since I've been back in Athens, which
Yes,
has
he has.
been almost 2 years ago. Don't listen to a fucking word she says.
Idiot. Oh, God.
So, oh Lord God, I wish I was retired already.
I do, too. I really do.
Well,
But, I mean, it's... It's not like with your parents. It's not like with my parents. Civil service thing is different now. And, I mean...
well, they both took early outs that were offered to them.
Your parents did, too?
Both my parents did, yeah.
Well, you know, mine retired at 55 and 30...
3.
43, 40, 40, 42, 43.
Yeah, it was a thing. They give you like a lump sum, and then if you'll go ahead and retire now instead of waiting another 2, 3, 4 years.
Yeah.
I need to email him and ask how many years he had when he retired. He may have already had 30. I'm not
Yeah,
really
but-
sure. See, his military time went towards his retirement, so it would have been easy for him to get to 30 years. Because he was in Vietnam for 4 years. I mean,
But
the Air
he
Force.
did a full 20 when you counted the Vietnam plus the
I'm saying
the National Guard or whatever he was.
it was
Army
reserves.
Reserves,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he got that. That's a full retirement too. So,
Oh, yeah. And he ended up with Champus military insurance plus the postal insurance.
but you see, today's youth, which is what we are apparently, are just lazy and privileged and whatever.
I saw some young person commenting. They said, so my parents and grandparents are like, why haven't you gotten married? Why aren't you having babies? Where's my grandkids? That sort of thing. And she's like, they keep pushing this whole, where's the grandkids? Why aren't women having babies anymore? And my generation can't afford it. They can't afford a house. They can't afford the down payment. They can't afford a car, which is, the average car is $50,000 now. The average home is $350,000, and that's 20% of that. Jesus Christ, you're looking at $70,000 at least for a freaking down payment. And then they've got jobs that won't give them full-time status, so they don't have health insurance. They're working gig work to make up the difference. They've got student loans for jobs that they never were able to get because nobody's hiring. Amazon just paid how many millions of dollars for this stupid Melania film? And yet, yesterday they just let go how many tens of thousands?
12,000.
It's something ridiculous. And they're talking about more layoffs. And then they did warehouse layoffs last year. The jobs market is falling out. There were over 8,000 franchise stores that closed last year.
When you say franchise store, what do you mean, like TJ Maxx type thing or something like that?
Meaning that, let's say you have a McDonald's and you have a franchise system.
Okay, yeah, I understand that, yeah.
Within the system, there were closures of McDonald's. There were closures of different types of stores across the board. Saks Fifth Avenue has declared bankruptcy. Macy's has announced another string of closings. And this happened. Joann's Fabrics, isn't that completely gone now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Peter said that where he used to work, when he asked the manager what was going to happen, his manager said, "We're not allowed to replace you. We're just having to stretch out your hours." And he was getting 20 to 28 hours. They had to keep him under whatever their requirement was for not being full-time. He said, "We're just going to have to suck it up and all the rest of us are going to have to do it." And then the manager made a point of going to the district manager and district meeting and saying, "I just lost one of my employees that could do everything in the store and handle training." Why? Because he got a better job with benefits as a dishwasher. And that's what is going on now. I mean, our kids are in jobs that are less than they should have with their degrees. They needed jobs with insurance. And the bigger companies were just not offering. They had decided, we're only going to do 30-hour employees, And we're going to have you do staggered days and all this other kind of bullshit. So, yeah, this generation, they can't afford to have babies. And they certainly can't afford this other thing that's being pushed right now by the extreme right. That is the trad wife. Traditional wives. A woman stays home, takes care of the babies. Can't afford that these days.
Okay, hold just 1 second. I gotta get another cup of tea. Pause it. All right, I'm back. Drink most of a cup of tea.
So you
feel guilty about that. All right, now. All right. Yes. Okay. I just now asked Bonnie. Did I tell you the story yesterday? Oh no. Okay, I'll tell it here then. All right. Here's the story. Not last night, but the night before. Got to work and there were signs tacked on the employee doors entrance, saying something like effective immediately or whatever. No carriers are allowed to come onto the workroom floor more than 5 minutes before their scheduled start time. So nobody knows exactly what this is about. Some people say people are coming into work like an hour early because they don't get paid the same way or something. But anyway, they're coming in and working like an hour for free just to get a jump start on the route, right?
I'm sorry, they're working off the clock?
A lot of them are because they want to get a jump start on the route, get everything organized, get everything straightened out because we've got so many parcels. And huge parcels too. Some of these are like older ladies that carry these routes. You're talking about 10, 20, 50-pound parcels sometimes.
Yeah, there's what, a 70-pound limit for USPS? I forget. It's been a while.
You can go over it if you willing to pay like a freight rate or something, I think.
Yeah, but
but
that takes
anyway,
special handling.
but then there's like maybe safety issues, people working off the clock. If they get hurt, then they're fucked. Or people clocking in and getting unauthorized overtime, or but most of them feel that the postmaster is just being petty, which shows me that maybe he didn't want to come back to this office.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so now when I'm leaving work, when I go in the break room to get my shit to go out to the car to leave, they're all in there, milling about, in my way, sometimes at my table. And it's like, this is so fucking stupid. So fucking stupid.
Another example of management not knowing how things work. But the whole working off the clock thing is something I've been concerned about with you. You get there before anyone else. And that means that you are required to unlock the gates. And logistically, it is best for you to go to the far gate, let whatever truck driver is there waiting come in, and then set the gate into the open position. And then you come back around and you go into the employee parking lot, unlock it, and then you clock in. I was so concerned that you were going to slip and fall while you were not clocked in this week on that icy pavement. I was so worried about that.
Well, there's always going to be an element where you might get hurt before you clock in, even if you just
And then
walk
there's
straight
the
in.
guy who fell over one of the parking things years ago over there. One of the guys fell in the parking lot. He tripped over one of the parking stops.
I think I remember that. I can't remember exactly what happened.
He was leaving work, I think, and tripped over one of those.
That sounds very familiar.
Yeah. You want me to rub your head? You got swelling on it, babe?
No. I think I know who that might have been. I'll have to ask somebody if I can remember.
It really fucked him up, though.
Yeah, well, anyway. Trying to think what else has been happening. We have a great big book of Art Nouveau that goes back to the University Library pretty soon. Bonnie and I need to go through it together. I thought it was one we had seen before, but it doesn't have that famous... If you've ever seen the movie Gigi with Leslie Caron and Maurice Chevalier, there's a scene where Gigi's going to go visit her aunt or grandmother or whatever the hell it is.
Hermione, what's her name?
Hermione Gingold and the other woman who lives with her, both her aunts or something. Anyway, it from across the street on the rooftop, it shows Gigi going. You look down on the street, you see Gigi going into this fancy doorway. Well, that doorway is a famous Art Nouveau doorway. I think Hector Guimard designed that one, and it's in the book that we thought this was, but I didn't see it in here. So this is a different book. This has got a lot of jewelry in it.
Okay.
Did you ever get around to watching that thing I sent you?
What? The faience? No, I haven't gotten around to it.
So so you know what this is? What is this? Some primitive form of glass making?
Honestly, I don't remember. I don't remember if it's like cloisonne or what. I can't remember.
I saw an up-close picture, and it looked to me like very crude glass fused together. I really have no idea.
The thing I saw looked like it was shaped metal with stonework. It looked like it was turquoise.
Oh,
for the
it's metal
coloring.
to you? Huh.
Well, no, I mean, see, imagine stained glass. They have the divisions.
Mm-hmm.
So they would take strips of metal, gold, etc., and they would create an image, and then they would fill in the gaps in the same way that you color in the lines
Mm-hmm.
between the lines in a coloring book. They would fill in with, well, for cloisonne, it's the
I was about to ask about this.
is it colored glass? They heat it up,
That's what I was going to say. I was about to ask you.
and
They have a metal framework.
then there's also the tradition that was very popular during Dark Ages to the Middle Ages, where they would do the design and then they would cut stones to fit into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
A lot of
I
that
can't remember.
old jewelry from, like, say, 1,000 years ago.
Has the rough cut stones and things.
Well, the
yeah.
thing is, when you look at it, what makes it actually valuable is the amount of man hours that went into make all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today it would be, the preciousness of the materials, because we can churn the damn thing out,
Yeah.
by the dozens. But back then, you're talking about a couple of artisans working all day
when
for
the Romans
weeks.
when the Romans conquered the Celts, they realized they weren't quite as primitive as they thought, because they discovered the Celts actually had created all this great gold work and jewelry and inlaid stuff, and their art spoke to a high culture of, generations of artisans.
Yeah.
And then their warfare was this more of a wild man kind of approach
Mm-hmm.
that the Romans mistook for a lack of civilization. So they thought that they were primitives. And they quickly had to amend the way they thought about these people. And it's really funny because it wasn't until the last 30 years that even in Britain, they looked at their history in the sense of we were civilized when the Romans came. But then Francis Pryor, an archaeologist there, discovered these great pathways. And these paths were through the fens and the marshes and such. And there were designated spots in them where along the paths there were things that were ritually placed there. And the things that were placed there in these spots that were sacrificed, etc., were things that were either deliberately or through use broken. And the things that they found, again, spoke to an artisan culture that said these people lived in such a way that they were able to continually add to their knowledge, pass down these traditions, and improve upon the artistic talent and the artistic merit of the things created.
Are these pathways through not forest land, but like
Fens and marshes.
okay,
And what they did was,
but anything like a grassland type?
well, they've also discovered in Great Britain ancient roadways that go back thousands of years that were laid down with, of all things, logs.
Yeah.
So that when you went through a muddy area, you had something traction-wise to grip so that the wheels would continue to roll.
Well, what I was just getting at is, it sounds to me like the type of paths where you could easily get lost if you weren't familiar with the local, the ways. Just for a minute there, it reminded me of something totally separate.
Well, the paths that were there and created thousands of years ago continue to be used by locals. And when Christianity came to Great Britain and began to spread out, Christianity did then what it has done throughout its tradition. It goes to the local spots where people worshipped, and the former temples, the former statuary, former grave markers,
Right.
things like that, were generally raised, and the church was placed upon that spot.
Yeah, but
Even
they
Notre
would.
Dame itself is placed on one of those ancient things.
Yeah, but they would also integrate the local stuff.
Yes.
But we've always worshipped Chuck Boole, the god of the harvest.
Of the water,
Well,
yeah.
now he can be Saint Chuck Boole, who works for the greater God, our God. Well, all
And
right.
They did that in every single culture they went into. And they did it with the Vikings. They did it throughout Africa with the voodoo religions. They did it through a number of different groups here in the Americas. It's what Christianity does. It takes the old traditions and it turns it into their.
But it's not.
But see, that's the thing. Christianity itself is based
Right,
on old
right.
traditions. They just stole the ideas. The monotheism.
Many years ago, I read somewhere somebody said, in the same way that Christianity came out of Judaism as sort of a reform movement, Buddhism came out of Hinduism as sort of a reform movement originally, but now it's seen as totally distinct and separate.
Even Judaism, which Christianity is based on, was started in an area where there were all these different gods, these different deities. And the one that was at Mount Sinai was the one that they settled with, El something or another. And in the Old Testament, there are references to the old gods that were worshipped at the time that Judaism began to develop as a distinct individual religion that was monotheistic. It isn't the only monotheistic religion. Was Mazda Ahura part of that? Zoroastrianism was also.
So is Islam. They're all monotheistic.
But Islam came out of Judaism tradition, and because you had the break with the Abrahamic break.
I don't know
tradition.
exactly what the whole deal with that
And
is.
So the peoples were divided, and when the peoples were divided, then you had development of Islam from there. And that was, 800 in the Common Era? I forget exactly when Islam was formed.
I don't know. I thought it was more like 300. I can't remember. Maybe it was 800. I
I
can't
can't
remember.
remember.
But
Everything's borrowed.
well, that's what I was
Absolutely
getting at
everything is
earlier.
borrowed. I mean,
Yeah.
there is the virgin birth that appears in the Egyptian religion, and there's certain
I'd
type
read
of blood
years
sacrifice
ago-
that, what?
It was around the time I was going to that crazy Christian school. I read some book or part of a book published by some Christian university publishing house, and it was talking about that very thing. And it's like, if you'll look in the past, you'll see that around 3000 BC or whatever, there was this religion that was popular around the Mediterranean where there was this virgin birth, and she gave birth to this Messiah. Well, this was planted by is most heinous, fiendish plot ever planted by Satan in history. And we mustn't even speak of this thing planted
So
by
you're
Satan.
saying they were saying that Satan came up with this idea
And
to predate
no,
the Jesus story, so that it would
Oh.
undermine it? Is that what they were saying?
If it was before.
It was before.
Okay, then then they were saying that he tried to beat God to the punch by having this evil
Oh, my
thing,
fucking
evil
God.
religion started.
Oh
you
my
know.
God!
But
the
there's no,
ways
but
that
the,
you and I
but the
approach
obvious,
stuff is explained away.
but the obvious answer or deduction that Christianity is yet one of many faiths at that time, based on these earlier ancient legends and myths. Oh, that can't possibly be true.
Hey, look at Gilgamesh, the story of Gilgamesh.
Exactly.
That is the story of Noah, and it predates the existence of Judaism, which brought us the Noah story.
I mean, that region back then had these enormous floods, like once every 50 years or whatever. So you can imagine this guy, and he just happens to be prepared, and he's got his wife and his kids and his dog with him, or maybe a goat or two, and they ride out the flood, and and the flood is so massive that when they finally come to land, they don't know where the hell they are.
But don't forget.
And it becomes a big story, a big legend, you know.
But don't forget that region has numerous mountain areas. And you have mountains where they will have year after year of accumulation of snow, and then there's a melt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a temperate change, and there's a massive melt. And a glacier breaks, or the snows melt, and it's a heavier flood than usual, and the proverbial dam breaks, and that the side of the mountain comes down, because of the rains and all these other things. There's these landslides, and just imagine one of the mountain lakes overflowing. But what happens with the mountain lake if the mountain begins to slide away? Then that water comes rushing down. And that kind of thing, we see these over and over and over again throughout history and throughout the world. And so in all major cultures where we have stories which remain, floods are intrinsic in those stories.
Mm-hmm. It was just this little story gets blown out of proportion and becomes part of the foundation of this belief system which people must not question and must never give up, even as the people who manipulate them using this belief just run them ragged, run them into the ground.
Think about the way that the Dust Bowls here in the U.S. in the early 1900s affected literature. And it affected movement and migration. And people took those stories and they began to tell them generationally. And novelists began to write about them. I mean, this is the way these things get preserved.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's pathetic.
The religion, the way they...
No, what I'm getting at is, back when the Depression happened, back when World War II happened, back when whatever happened, you had a literate society where you had novelists on the scene or playwrights on the scene to tell the tale of what the country's going through. Today, who's telling the tale of what's going on? Well, you have a little 2-minute video on YouTube, or you have some twisted lie from the White House, or you have it's just this piffle, this trivial, ephemera to tell the great tale of what we're going through. By the time they make a movie about it, it'll be, give me a break.
It does feel like the era of great literature and great authors has passed us by, and it's been substituted for a blurb, a video short, a 2-minute piece.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be people could sit around and actually discuss literature. And you think about television when it first got started, and one of the things they did was they introduced certain plays to everyone across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have concerts. And there were educational forums. One of the things that you and I have enjoyed watching are some of the old BBC educational programs. We found this one guy who did a How Things Work program.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
And he's the one, I think, that created the pigs for Pink Floyd. Didn't he do their...
Maybe. I can't remember.
Something like that.
He did a lot of,
But his educational programs are fabulous. They're meant for the masses, but they're perfect for kids. I was absolutely enthralled by his thing explaining fax machines.
Well, the thing...
I don't care about fax machines, but the way he presented it, I was like...
Well, what really stunned me,
I can follow.
He explained something that has puzzled me for years,
What?
And now I can't remember what the explanation was, or even if I understood it at the time. But it's why digital watches slowly drift over time. And he explained something. Because you'll have 2 identical digital watches, and you can set them. Okay, the same. If you leave one at home and you start wearing the other one everywhere, they will eventually drift apart. And the my occasionally, like once every 5 months or so, 4 months, I'll readjust my. I have a old Casio calculator watch I wear, and it's easy to set the time on it. So once every 4 or 5 months or whatever, I'll readjust it so it's right on the money with the time clock at work.
Usually you do that with the time change.
Right. And
Yeah.
so, and then slowly it inches forward. And now I'm almost a minute off.
What's his name? Tim something?
I think keep saying Tim Taylor, but that was one of the goodies.
This guy, the fax thing was actually part of a larger series where he talked about how communication has developed.
Yeah, one
And he
series was about
explained-
communication, one series was about this, one series
Yeah.
about that.
But he explained how telegraphs worked. He explained the telephone. He explained cathode ray tubes and the way the signals receive fax machines. It was fascinating because everything tied together. Because it was, the ideas were interdependent upon one another. And
Well, one of the things that's interesting about him was he had worked so long for the BBC labs or whatever the hell it is, props department, that he would often bring on the show things that he had built for the BBC. You know, I built this for Doctor Who back in 1971. It's a remote controlled Dalek that does this and this. You just push this button and it works by these relays or whatever.
But he also went back to earlier ancient times. I remember he created a water clock.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fascinating. You and I were watching something recently where they talked about how people were dependent upon time and readjusting their time when they came into port. And they would have a ball
That's
that
right.
would rise or fall based on certain time periods. Peter
Yeah.
found out that that is what became the symbol for New Year's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's where the New Year's ball drop comes from. Is that old dock time mechanism for telling all the ships out in the harbor, this marks X time. Set your clocks to this standard time. Greenwich Mean Time, for example. And then you would be able to use that in order to determine your location. And I can't even begin to understand latitude and longitude and such.
I love that scene in Master and Commander when Captain Jack, or whatever the hell his name is, Jack Aubrey, is trying to catch that French ship. And he goes all the way around in a big loop, and the master of gunnery, or whatever the hell it is on the boat, says, he goes blind through 100 miles of whatever, and he lands right on the guy's butt. You know, that's seamanship. By God, sir, that's seamanship. It's a great line.
Was that Robert Pugh playing that part of the second or third?
That sounds familiar, but I'm not sure.
Okay. That was a great movie. I could watch that movie again. I'm gonna have to recommend it. Peter and I watched Master and Commander again.
It is a really good movie.
And the music, phenomenal.
And one of the great things about the movie, there's only one woman in the whole movie, and she doesn't say a fucking word.
My dad and I were talking about that the other day. It was his birthday, so I called him. We talked for about an hour. And he and I got to discussing the manosphere. And I talked to him about how you had been following some atheist speakers online, but you had to stop following them because they were so absolutely anti-woman. And one of the things they did was complain about, why does there always have to be women in movies?
Yeah.
And I think that there's a place for women in movies, but I don't think there's a place for women in every movie. The same way I don't think that there's a place for men in every movie. I mean, can you imagine the traveling Sisterhood of the Pants having a man-oriented cast? No, that's not appropriate. And Master Commander is one of those that you didn't need to have some woman added into it. You don't need to
She
have,
has special powers.
yeah, or like the Hobbit did. You don't need to have the elf fall in love with the dwarf, to have a
Right.
love aspect to the story. You don't need that, really, honestly, okay? Um, but there was, I mentioned to my dad, and he didn't know this, Alien. When Alien announced that they were going to do a casting call, the names were all the last names of the characters. Ripley, for example. There was no first name, all right? And so the people were just called by the last names. So you went in and you just read for a part. And whoever got it was based on how they read the part. Not that it was a 20-year-old woman or a 40-year-old man or a 65-year-old transvestite. It was just a person who had this position, and could read the lines as needed in these scenes. But I added, and my dad had not realized that that is the way they had cast the movie. And so the lead ended up being a woman just because she happened to read that character the best.
Well,
But
she really wasn't the lead, except in retrospect. Because
She-
throughout the course of the movie,
it's supposed to be
It's
an
shifting.
ensemble.
right.
But it does move toward her because she is the survivor. But I told my dad it's really funny that they ended up casting Veronica Cartwright in her role because there was a scene where the first alien exploding from the chest happens, and it happens at the dinner in the dining table or something, and Veronica Cartwright threw up spontaneously because the special effects were so disgusting, and they kept it in because it was perfect for the thing. And so I guess in a sense she really was meant for that role because she not only won the role, she then expanded it by doing that.
Well, what episode of she was on X Files about something?
She was an X-Files. She was part of the later arc. She was Jeffrey Spender's mom. And
Okay.
she had been in a wheelchair. She was formerly married to cigarette smoking guy.
Yeah. Well, she was also in, and
Bosch.
this was she was in Bosch
Yes. She was in first season Bosch.
as well. Well, I don't remember that very clearly. What?
First season Bosch, they have a serial killer that is discovered by accident in a traffic stop. They pull over a van. They open the back, and there is a guy bound and dead, and he is being taken and to be chopped up and mutilated, okay? The serial killer had been in the foster care system. And his mom, his foster mom, who took him in at the end and loved him and took care of him, even after he was completely damaged, was Veronica Cartwright. When he goes into hiding, he goes over to her house.
That sounds familiar.
And he doesn't want her to know what he's done. They have a bolo out for him because he's escaped custody. He steals her glasses from her. She's got these thick bottle cap glasses.
That's very familiar. Yeah.
And so he ends up killing her. He smothers her. It's a very sad sort of arc there, but yeah, she was fabulous in that role. And
Well,
until she spoke, I didn't recognize her.
what I remember, the other thing I remember her in. This is a terrible, terrible movie. It's
Witches of Eastwick?
Witches of Eastwick. She's like the
keeps spitting
preacher's.
the cherry pits
she's
out.
the preacher's wife or something.
Yes.
And the devil makes her magically spit up cherry pits that she has not been eating.
Yeah. The
but-
women are all, the witches are all eating cherries.
Okay.
And as they spit out the pits, she is spitting out the pits.
That was Cher, Susan Sarandon, and
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Is that who it was?
Yes, I think I know it was Michelle Pfeiffer. What was it? Susan Sarandon
I think so.
and Cher. Yeah, it's not
And
bad.
Jack Nicholson?
And
was
Jack
the other
Nicholson,
one?
yeah.
Oh my God.
And I'll tell you who else. can't think of the guy's name. The guy who played Lurch in the modern day Addams Family movies with Raul Julia.
I don't know who that was.
This tall, freaky looking guy was Jack Nicholson's butler.
Was he the one who played the servant on Stargate Next, Star Trek Next Generation? Roxana Troy's.
It may have been,
manservant?
but that was it's possible. I only saw that once a long time ago. He should have showed up for her wedding to somebody or something.
Yeah, and there's this really tall, lanky guy. It's weird and odd.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't her mother the one that's like, why aren't we all naked or something?
Gene Roddenberry's wife, yeah.
Oh, Michelle Barrett.
Yeah, was played the mother.
But then she says something like, on my planet, we're all naked all the time.
Exactly. We're naked at the ceremonies. That's right. And Picard was like, oh.
Oh, Lord. I remember when, God damn it, L.A. Story came out. And that's the first time I ever saw Patrick Stewart. And then all of a sudden...
Was he a gay man in that?
No, he was the owner of the restaurant.
It was a foppish kind of restaurant.
Right, really elite thing.
It was Lidio for idiots.
Trey on team. Trey's on team. What am I saying? And then, like right after that, all of a sudden this new Star Trek comes out. Boom, and there he is. And I'm like, what's all this about? Where did this guy come from? It's kind of like how Pete Postlethwaite popped up out of nowhere.
Is we had seen him before. We had watched Dune when we were young.
That's right. That's a very good point. But he had a little bit of hair.
He had a tiny bit of hair.
Like a little halo of hair at the back.
Yeah, it wasn't much.
That's funny you mentioned that, yeah.
And Richard Jordan was in it too. Remember that?
Oh, so many people in that movie.
I mean, as the advisors to Paul Atreides, his trainers.
But, everybody, I don't know. At this point, I think it's a mixed audience now. Because I think...
What, Dune?
Yeah, because I think at this point, you've got a lot of people like, oh, it always sucked. It always sucked. And
what?
Then there's people like us that are like, no, it was always good. It was always good.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
I like that movie. And just because... I don't know.
I think that I would like to rewatch the new Blade Runner with Harrison Ford or
I haven't even seen it.
Ryan Gosling or whoever was.
You've seen it or not seen it?
I did see it once, but I can't remember it. And I mean, having been a big, huge fan of the first Blade Runner, of course, I thought that was the better.
Well, it's just that some things are so perfect.
Well, that's the thing. We watch Blade Runner in its different iterations.
But the thing is, if let's just call it Blade Runner 2. If Blade Runner 2 had come out 3 years.
You mean the Ryan Gosling one?
Right. If it had come out, just right on the heels of the first one, then you'd go, okay, it may suck compared to the first one, but it's still acceptable because it's part of the legitimate. But then you're going to wait 40 years to do another one just because Harrison Ford's trying to squeeze out as much life as he can before it's too late.
Leave him alone.
I've kind of turned my back on him because, bad enough to do
psychology, whatever show it is he's got on Apple. I like that. I think it's very funny. It's very cute.
But why keep doing Indiana Jones when it just...
Oh, that last
diminishing
one?
returns.
You know what happened in the last one?
They go back in time. I know. I've read.
How incredibly stupid was it? I watched it to the end because I wanted to say I'd seen it. I have never watched the Crystal Skull one.
It's terrible. I mean, terrible.
I've seen excerpts, and I just could not believe that. When you and I were watching Stargate, that's already beyond the pale of, anything. There was all kinds of crazy shit. They had a crystal skull one. Do you remember that? Where there's a crystal skull that transports people into a different dimension. And Daniel Jackson's grandfather is stuck in that dimension.
That sounds familiar, but the crystal skull part does not sound familiar at all. Wait a minute. His grandfather was like a German who researched
He was somebody.
archaeologist
he was
or something.
Some sort of archaeologist that was, I think, at like the Mayan temples or something that had disappeared.
Okay. Oh dear. I'd like to. One of these days, I'd like to rewatch all those.
The first year is so difficult. It's so awkward to watch.
Yeah. A lot of shows are like that.
One of my favorite writers, the one who did the Old Man series, John Scalzi, is one of the writers' ideas people for Stargate. And so I think that's one of the reasons it became so good, was him coming on board to do that.
When we make this video, I'm going to use one of the pictures from the big drawing
Okay.
project folder. That's what I put that on there for.
Did you? Oh, sorry. Did you ever see Stargate Universe?
I probably saw a piece of it when you were watching it.
Yeah. That's one I wish they had continued. I think the Stargate Atlantis went too long. And it went a little too far afield.
Isn't it funny how if something's moderately successful, they will try to milk it as many iterations as possible. It's like Kit Kats in Japan. Stores that sell 300 different flavors. Aren't you going to get sick after a while? I mean,
I don't know. If I could still have dairy, I would still be trying the different ones.
banana matcha.
Green tea.
Right, mix with banana.
Yeah. But,
Did you ever hear my song Ringo Robusto about the health food thing?
no.
It's really good. It's really, really good. Oh God.
You know, it is. Are we at noon now already?
Yeah, we're over an hour into this thing. We're an hour and 7 minutes into it.
We're expecting snow starting tonight.
Let's not discuss bad things,
At
ill
4 o'clock.
omens.
I know.
I'm not going to think about it.
I was hoping it would start during the day so we could cover up the heat pump and keep it from icing up again. But I'm afraid it is going to ice up again. We were without heat for several days.
Well, wait a minute. Aren't you still going to do that project?
Well, the problem is that we want heat. We want heat in the house for as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And then cover and turn off the heat pump.
Well,
but the problem is it's going to be snowing for 15 hours.
Okay, we'll figure something out. So anyway, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up, and I can go ahead and make this video. And
Because we can't run the heat pump with the vent covered up.
all right. So is that it?
Is it? Don't you think we've run our mouths long enough?
Yeah, for this week. We'll save up some mouth movements for
Mouth movements.
next weekend.
All right.
All right. Love you.
Hey, I love you too. This was fun.
It was fun. See you.
Bye.
Bye.